Hello everyone and welcome back to another fun deck with Freezing Guy. This time our deck is going to be an unlikely team-up between heroes and OJAMAs? That's right, your favorite GX protagonist teams up with his rival for this one. Now you can get your game on and chaz it up all in one deck. The deck's main playstyle is hand looping your opponent for as many cards as you can on the first turn. And it revolves around these two monsters, neo-spacian Aqua Dolphin and its upgraded form, neo-spacian Marine Dolphin. They both share an effect that lets you discard a card to look at your opponent's hand, then destroy one monster in their hand with an attack equal or lower than the monster you currently control, and then they take 500 damage, with the only difference being that if you don't control a monster with a higher attack, then you take 500 damage with Aqua Dolphin's effect, while you don't take any damage with Marine Dolphin's effect. These monsters can then contact fuse with Elemental Hero Neos to special summon Elemental Hero Aqua Neos and Elemental Hero Marine Neos respectively. Aqua Neos lets you discard a card to destroy a random card in your opponent's hand, while Marine Neos lets you destroy a random card in your opponent's hand for free. Now these used to be a bunch of worthless monsters back when they were first released during the GX era. The whole gimmick of contact fusing using a level 7 normal monster plus one other monster on your field was extremely slow to say the least. What's worse is that the fusion monsters only stay on your field for a solid one turn before it returns to the extra deck, leaving your field wide open for your opponent's attacks. Marine Dolphin and Marine Neos were even worse, because they required to be summoned using a very specific unsearchable card. But fast forward to the present, with the most recent support from the power of the elements, Neos gained a very strong consistency boost that made it easier to summon these monsters. Aqua Dolphin and Marine Dolphin's effects are actually very useful nowadays, because every deck plays hand traps, and hand trap monsters normally have very low attack. But that's not all. The best thing about Aqua Dolphin and Marine Dolphin's effect is that, with one discard cost, you gain perfect knowledge of your opponent's hand, which is something that is only normally shared by banned cards, or cards with a very strict restriction or cost attached to them. It's actually very interesting how a card that was considered worthless back in 2006 is now considered a very strong effect in the current meta. And so a semi-consistent hand-looping deck was born. Now you may be asking, but where are the OJAMAs? Well, they're cannon fodders. This deck's main weakness is that it requires a lot of discarding from your own hand to destroy cards from your opponent's hand. That's where the OJAMAs come into play. OJA Magic is a spell card that, when sent from your hand or field to the graveyard, lets you add one of each OJAMA Green, OJAMA Yellow, and OJAMA Black from your deck to your hand. So with one discard, you can replenish your hand with 3 more cards, which you can then discard to destroy more cards from your opponent's hand. Now of course you can use more useful cards with discard effects, such as Dangers or Dark Worlds, or even the brand new Ishizu cards. But why make a good deck when you can make a fun meme deck instead? So let's start with the deck list. It is a 55 card deck that's pretty much the standard hero deck, but with OJAMAs and Neos splashed onto it. Now I have tried a few variations of this deck, so you may see some random cards here and there when I show you the replays later. But the deck's main playstyle pretty much stayed the same, and I found that this deck list was the most consistent out of all of them. One of the reasons why we play a 55 card deck is that we don't want to get any of the OJAMAs in our opening hand, because OJA Magic will only resolve properly if we have one copy of each of the OJAMAs in our deck. For example, if we only have 2 of the OJAMAs in our deck when OJA Magic activates, you don't get to add any of them to your hand, because OJA Magic requires you to add all 3 of them from your deck. You can mitigate this by playing more copies of each of the OJAMAs, but you'll just end up with a bunch of OJAMAs in your hand that you can't do anything with. With that said, let's go through the cards. So we have one of each of the OJAMAs, 3 Elemental Hero Neos, 2 Max Cs, 3 Cross Keeper, 2 neo-spacian Aqua Dolphin, 2 Ash Blossom, 1 Destiny Hero Denier, 2 Elemental Hero Stratos, 3 Elemental Hero Shadow Mist, 3 Neo-Space Connector, 1 Evil Hero Adusted Gold, 2 Destiny Hero Malicious, 1 Elemental Hero Honest Neos, 3 Elemental Hero Spirit of Neos, 2 Polymerization, 1 Reinforcement of the Army, 1 Miracle Fusion, 3 OJAMA Magic, 2 E Emergency Call, 1 Hero Lives, 1 Dark Calling, 1 Miracle Contact, 2 Fusion Destiny, 3 EN Engage Neospace, 1 Instant Contact, 1 EN Shuffle, 2 Mass Change, 2 Called By, and 1 Forbidden Droplet. And for the extra deck we have 1 Neo-Spacian Marine Dolphin, 1 Elemental Hero Necroid Shaman, 1 Mass Hero Dark Law, 1 Elemental Hero Aqua Neos, 1 Elemental Hero Brave Neos, 1 Elemental Hero Sunrise, 1 Elemental Hero Marine Neos, 1 Elemental Hero Absolute Zero, 1 Mass Hero Acid, 1 Mass Hero Koga, 1 Evil Hero Malicious Bane, 1 Destiny Hero Destroyer Phoenix Enforcer, 1 First of the Dragons, 1 Extra Hero Cross Crusader, and 1 Predaplans Verte Anaconda. Now that you know the deck list, I'm going to show you some combos you can do with this deck. If it's not obvious yet, this is a going first deck. Because if you're going second, your opponent has probably used up all the cards in their hand already, meaning you won't have any cards left to destroy in their hand. But since this is also a hero deck, going second is not a problem for you. Now let's start this combo tutorial with the perfect starting hand. And it consists of having Neo-Space Connector, OJAMA Magic, EN Engage Neospace, and either Aqua Dolphin or Shadow Mist in your opening hand. This combo lets you destroy up to 4 cards from your opponent's hand and ends with a DPE on your field. So here's how it works. First, we activate EN Engage Neospace by discarding Shadow Mist in our hand and sending Aqua Dolphin from our deck to the graveyard to special summon Elemental Hero Spirit of Neos. Then add Polymerization to our hand. Now at this point, both Spirit of Neos and Shadow Mist's effect will trigger. So choose which one you would rather chain block. For Shadow Mist's effect, we will add Malicious to our hand. You will see why later. And for Spirit of Neos' effect, we add Instant Contact. Now before we activate Instant Contact, we need to have the Vanilla Neos in our field or graveyard. So we activate Spirit of Neos' second effect to tag out to the Vanilla Neos. Now we can activate Instant Contact by paying 1000 life points. We special summon Marine Dolphin here. Then we use Marine Dolphin's effect to discard OJAMA Magic from our hand. And now we can look at our opponent's hand, then destroy something with less than 2500 attack. Let's destroy Danger Dogman here. Now OJAMA Magic will activate, letting us add OJAMA Green, Yellow, and Black from the deck to the hand. And since we have both Neos and Marine Dolphin on the field, we use both of them to contact fuse into Elemental Hero Marine Neos. We use Marine Neos' effect here to destroy a random card in our opponent's hand. And since we haven't normal summoned yet this turn, we normal summon neo-spacian connector and activate its effect to special summon Aqua Dolphin from our deck. We activate Aqua Dolphin's effect by discarding one of the OJAMAs to destroy another monster from our opponent's hand. This time we destroy Tsuchinoko. Now we use neo-spacian connector's second effect to tribute itself to special summon the Aqua Dolphin from our graveyard. And since Aqua Dolphin's effect is not a hard once per turn, we activate its effect again to destroy the last monster in our opponent's hand. And now our opponent is down to their last card in their opening hand. But wait, there's more! Remember the malicious we added a while ago? We use polymerization here to fusion summon Destroyer, Phoenix, Enforcer. Using malicious and Marine Neos on the field. Well, here you can use the vanilla Neos, but let's pretend that card's not here. And that's it! We have ended with a DPE on our board and destroyed 4 cards from our opponent's starting hand. Now of course that's with the perfect starting hand, and your opponent not having any hand traps or interruptions during your first turn. And since we don't live in a perfect world, that's probably not gonna happen most of the time. Especially since we're trying to start a duel with 4 specific cards in our opening hand, albeit 2 of them are searchable. I kid you not in that I spent almost 2 hours of resetting just to start a duel with those 4 cards in hand. So instead, here are 2 combos that you will probably see on a normal basis. The first combo consists of having EN engage Neo-Space and either Aqua Dolphin or Shadow Mist in your opening hand. This combo lets you look at your opponent's hand, destroy up to 2 cards from your opponent's hand, ends with a DPE on your field without using your normal summon, but it does lock you into fusion monsters for the rest of the turn. Now this combo is very similar to the one that I just showed you earlier. We first activate EN engage Neo-Space to send Aqua Dolphin from our hand and Shadow Mist from our deck to the graveyard. We always try to send Shadow Mist when using this card. To special summon Spirit of Neos. Then add polymerization to our hand. Now Spirit of Neos and Shadow Mist will trigger here. So just like before, we pick Spirit of Neos as Chain Link 1 and Shadow Mist as Chain Link 2. Now with Shadow Mist, we add Malicious again. And with Spirit of Neos, we add Instant Contact. Now before we activate Instant Contact, we need to activate Spirit of Neos' second effect to tag out to the vanilla Neos from our deck. Then we activate Instant Contact to special summon Marine Dolphin. We activate Marine Dolphin's effect by discarding the second Malicious to look at our opponent's hand and destroy a monster with 2500 attack or less. Ooh, let's destroy Tsuchinoko again. Now that we have Marine Dolphin and Neos on the field, we contact fuse Marine Neos. And activate its effect to destroy a random card in our opponent's hand. Now it's time to set up our board. With the malicious that we added a while ago, we activate polymerization to fusion summon DPE using malicious and Marine Neos on the field. And there you go. We ended with a DPE on our board and destroyed 2 cards from our opponent's hand. And we haven't even used our normal summon yet this turn. But because we use EN Engage Neo-Space, we cannot special summon monsters from the extra deck except fusion monsters for the turn. The second combo consists of having Crosskeeper and Spirit of Neos in your opening hand. This combo lets you look at your opponent's hand, destroy up to 2 cards from your opponent's hand, draw 2 cards, then shuffle 1 card from your hand back to the deck, without using your normal summon, and it doesn't lock you into anything for the rest of the turn. So first, we activate Crosskeeper's effect by discarding it to special summon Spirit of Neos from our hand. Spirit of Neos' effect will activate here, allowing us to add instant contact to our hand. Now again, before we activate instant contact, we need to tag out to the vanilla Neos from our deck. Now we can activate instant contact to special summon Marine Dolphin. We activate Marine Dolphin's effect by discarding a card to look at our opponent's hand, then destroy a monster with an attack lower than Neos. Let's destroy Snow for now. Now since we have both Marine Dolphin and Neos on the field, we shuffle them both back to the deck to special summon Marine Neos. Now Crosskeeper's effect will trigger here, because we special summoned an Elemental Hero fusion monster. So we activate it by banishing Crosskeeper from the graveyard to draw 2 cards, then shuffle 1 card back into the deck. I guess we'll shuffle this vanilla Neo since we won't use it. Now we activate Marine Neos' effect to destroy a random card in our opponent's hand. And that's it! We destroyed 2 cards from our opponent's hand, and we haven't even used our normal summon yet. But the best thing is that we are not locked into anything for the rest of the turn, so we can do any additional plays that we want. As you can see, the main goal is always trying to special summon Spirit of Neos, using either Crosskeeper, EN Engage Neo-Space, or EN Shuffle. Then use Spirit of Neos' effect to add instant contact to your hand. And from there, we have a few options. Instant contact lets you special summon a level 7 or lower Elemental Hero or neo-spacian monster from your extra deck, ignoring their summoning conditions. But if Elemental Hero Neos, the vanilla, is not on your field or graveyard, their effects are negated. So it's like instant fusion, but for heroes! There's actually a lot of useful monsters you can cheat out using this card's effect. For the Neos and Neo-Spacians, we have Marine Dolphin and Aqua Neos for more hand-looping shenanigans, Grand Neos to return a monster your opponent controls back to the hand, which is one of the best way to get rid of monsters these days, because it dodges a lot of floating effects, Dark Neos to negate a monster your opponent controls, and Glow Neos to destroy something that's not a monster, such as face-up spell and trap cards, or field spells. And for the Elemental Heroes, we have Braid Neos for more punching power, Necroid Shaman to destroy a monster your opponent controls, then replace it with a weaker monster from your opponent's graveyard. And finally, and surprisingly the best one, Sunrise, which is a game ender. In my deck list, you can see that I chose Necroid Shaman over the other Neos fusions. That's because Necroid Shaman's effect activates immediately on summon, compared to the other Neos fusions that are ignition effects. Meaning your opponent cannot just get rid of the monster immediately on summon before I even get an opportunity to activate their effects. Also, Necroid Shaman is Dark attribute, so it's a target for mass change into Dark Law. Now sometimes you can't special summon Spirit of Neos. In that situation, If you have Neo-Space Connector, you can still do the following. Look at your opponent's hand, possibly destroy one monster in their hand, and still end with a DPE on your field. So here is one of those bad opening hands. But as long as we have Neo-Space Connector, we can still do some decent plays. So first we normal summon Neo-Space Connector and activate its effect. To special summon Aqua Dolphin from our deck. We activate Aqua Dolphin's effect by discarding a card. Let's get rid of this second Neo-Space Connector and hope that our opponent has a monster with less than 800 attack. Hey, there's one. So we destroy Jackalope. Now even if we didn't destroy a monster here, at least we were able to look at our opponent's hand. And now, since we have two effect monsters on the field, we use both of them as link material to link summon Verte Anaconda. Now we activate Verte Anaconda's second effect to pay 2000 life points to activate a fusion spell from the deck. We pick Fusion Destiny to fusion summon, you guessed it, DPE again, by sending both Denier and Malicious from the deck to the graveyard. And that's it. We have DPE on our field and destroyed one card in our opponent's hand. Now because of Verte Anaconda's effect, we are not allowed to special summon other monsters for the rest of the turn. So our turn pretty much ends here. But at least we ended with one interruption, even though we started with a very bad hand. And while we're here, I'm going to talk about the DPE plus Evil Hero package. And it revolves around one card, Fusion Destiny. With one Fusion Destiny, you can special summon both DPE and Malicious Bane in one turn. You normally do this combo when you're trying to go for game. So here's the scenario. Your opponent has a full board of monsters, and you want to go for game, and you have Fusion Destiny in your hand. So first, we activate Fusion Destiny to fusion summon DPE by sending Destiny Hero Denier and Malicious from our deck to the graveyard. Now at this point, Fusion Destiny prevents us from special summoning any other monsters except Dark Hero monsters, but that's not a problem for us. Now we activate Malicious's effect in the graveyard to banish itself and special summon a copy from the deck. Now since we have a Destiny Hero monster on the field or graveyard, we can special summon Denier from our graveyard. Then we can activate its effect to put back the Malicious we just banished back on top of our deck. Now we use both Denier and Malicious as link material to link summon Extra Hero Cross Crusader. Cross Crusader's effect will activate here, allowing us to special summon a Destiny Hero from the graveyard. It doesn't really matter which one you choose, because we're just going to tribute them to activate Cross Crusader's second effect to add a hero monster from our deck to the hand. And we're going to add Evil Hero Adusted Gold to our hand. We activate Adusted Gold's effect to discard itself to add Dark Calling to our hand. Now we have an Evil Hero monster and a level 5 or higher monster in the graveyard. So now we activate Dark Calling to fusion summon Malicious Bane by banishing Malicious and a Dusted Gold from our graveyard. Now DPE and Malicious Bane actually works well with each other, because DPE lowers your opponent's monster's attack, and Malicious Bane's effect lets you destroy all monsters your opponent controls with less attack than it. And there you have it. We have summoned both monsters with one card, and we haven't touched any of the other cards in our hand. Now all that's left to do is to attack for game. And that's pretty much it. Before we go to the replays, I actually have another deck list that replaces the DPE plus Evil Hero package with the Galaxy Tomahawk package instead, replacing Malicious Bane as your finisher with Access Code Talker, or a negate with Overload Savage Dragon. It is less consistent, but since this deck can spew out 2 level 7s easily, it is a viable option for a different kind of deck. And that's it for the combos. Let's now go to the PAL Showcase.
超ワクワクしてきた。さあ、とことん楽しもうぜ、万丈目。
万丈目さんだ。行くぞ10代。このデュエル負けるわけにはいかないからな。
へへ、行こうぜ、俺のヒーローたち。
行け雑魚ども。
兄貴。
デュエル。
Armed Neos who? The true fusion of Jaden and Chaz's ace monster is First of the Dragons, baby.